Hey everybody, we have a completing the square problem here. 2x squared minus 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. And when I'm completing the square with this, what I'm going to do is start with just these two terms. So that's 2x squared minus 2x. And what I want to look at first is this 2x squared. So let's just look at it. And I'm going to take the square root of it, which is going to get me the square root of 2 times x. Okay, that's the first part. Square root of 2, not square root of x, square root of 2x squared. Right there, that's the first part in our completing the square problem. Next, we're going to look at the minus 2. So I'm going to take minus 2x, that term, we're going to divide it by 2. To get to minus x, and now I'm going to divide it by the term that we found here. So that's minus x divided by the square root of 2, square root of 2 times x. I keep wanting to put that x in there, and that would be a mistake, and I even tag off the end of my square roots, the end of my radicals, so that I know it's not in there. The x's reduce, and we're left with negative 1 over the square root of 2. I'm going to resist the urge to rationalize that denominator right away, and as we continue our problem, hopefully this will go away. So we have what we think it's going to be a perfect square. We have what we're thinking is going to be a perfect square right here. We think it should be this and this quantity squared. So that's square root of 2, square root of 2x minus 1 over the square root of 2 quantity squared. That's what we're going to complete. And so then to add on to it, we need this last term right here squared. So that's going to be this right here again, this last term, the second term in our perfect square. Negative 1 over the square root of 2 squared, which is 1/2. Okay. We're ready to put this together to complete the square. I'm going to take my original problem, 2x squared minus 2x, leave a little space, minus 1 is equal to 0. And now I'm going to add this factor in, plus 1/2 plus 1/2. All of this is our perfect square. Which we have right here. Square root of 2, yes, I did it this time, x minus 1 square root of 2, square it. And again, that replaces these three terms, but that minus 1 is still there. Minus 1 is equal to, this is now 1/2. We're going to solve, which means we want to isolate what's being squared. We're going to add 1 to both sides. So this will become, you know what, I'm liking blue. Let's write in blue. Square root of 2, x minus 1 over square root of 2 squared is equal to, let's see here, 1/2 plus 1 is 1/2 plus 2/2 is 3/2. 3 over 2. Take the square root now. So this is the square root of the quantity 3 over 2. And whenever we take a square root, we have to pay the price for it. We've got to add the plus or minus to the front. On our left-hand side here, this is the square root of 2x minus 1 over the square root of 2. And then our left-hand side, we have plus or minus the square root of the quantity 3 over 2, which is, you know what, plus or minus the square root of 3 over the square root of 2. I like that better. I'm going to add this to both sides. 1 divided by the square root of 2. So we'll get plus or minus 3 over the square root of 2 plus 1 over the square root of 2. And this is equal to the square root of 2x. These are over square roots. These two numerators, we can add them since we have this common denominator. So let's add our numerators and we'll get 1 plus or minus the square root of 3 divided by the square root of 2. Now is one numerator. And this is the square root of 2 over x. And we're going to have to divide by the square root of 2. So let's, well, here's space. Let's take and let's do 1 over the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times x. That's going to give us just x. And then on this side, it's going to be 1 over the square root of 2 times 1 plus or minus the square root of 3 over the square root of 2. And if we have the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, that's going to be just 2. So this will become over 2. And this is 1 plus or minus the square root of 3 over 2. And then we can take that 2 and divide it into both terms in the numerator and write this as a sum, not like this little division-y thing. So we'll have that x is equal to, and this is the form we like to write it, 1/2 plus 3 over 2, or 1/2 minus square root of 3 over 2, and close off my set. And that, with a completely filled frame, is completing the square for this silly problem. All right, great job everyone. I'll see you in class. Good luck studying.